Okay.
I'd also love permission to throw it live to YouTube. I forgot to put that in the agenda.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
All
Thanks.
right. Okay. So as much as you can, we're hopeful you can have your video on. We've already had one person say they're not gonna be able to keep their video on, and that's okay, but as much as possible, engage in the chat. If you have questions, things come up, please feel free to engage in the chat. That's something I'm gonna be monitoring and helping Amy with. If you can, set your phone aside and turn it off so we can give our full attention for this next hour. If you have a pen and paper handy, you might want to take notes. So pen and paper handy for notes. If something like, we like knowing just for yourself, like if one thing jumped out, write that down, keep it handy. We're gonna close our time together at the top of the hour. We promise we won't run late. This goes 1 hour. You'll have some chance at sharing at the top of the hour. We'll keep the room open for 10 or 15 minutes if you want to stay on and talk a little bit more. We would like that. The theme for today's show is energy. And energy, as you all know, I don't know if everyone knows, I shouldn't say that, but I know quite a few of us know about Amy's book, Moonshot, Aim High, Dive Deep, Live an Extraordinary Life, the transformational memoir. And we're at chapter 8, distinction 8, energy. The energy's ordinary definition is the strength and vitality required for sustained physical or mental activity. The extraordinary definition of energy is the current of vital information exchange that regenerates landscapes. There's always also a little quote that goes with each distinction, and I love to read those. A universe, put me in the places you want me to be, with the people you want me to be with, doing the thing you want me to do. I am grateful for the joys and challenges in my life. Namaste. And that is Tammy Rosen, Recovery 2.0 prayer. So Amy is going to guide us on a journey. And just people who don't know Amy, our guide today is Amy. She's a life coach and relationship doula. She's your guide.
Oh, wir haben heute 11 Leute. So viele hat man noch nie.
She's your guide to birthing extraordinary relationships with self, other, and spirit. Amy is a published author, and these can be purchased directly from me. And I'm handling that for Amy, and also for you, those of you in Hawaii, you can get them directly from Amy. So without further ado, Amy, take us with you.
Woohoo! Thank you, Mare. Yay! How exciting! It's like a dream come true here. This coming together. So I get to start with what always gives me more juice, which is to express deep gratitude. A big warm mahalo, a big warm aloha. This feels like the culmination of a lot of energy and attention, and it's all here in this present moment. And that's kind of how my life is rolling. It's when I can fully open up and avail myself to this present moment and feel super grounded in gratitude for what is, gratitude for what isn't, and really allow myself to receive what comes, to let go of what goes, and not chase after anything. Those really help me to be here and to be of maximum service, which is my plan. So the Moonshot Magic Movement is an important energetic exchange that keeps me going. Where I'm from is coming from a lot of discord, a lot of trauma, a lot of not fitting in, a lot of confusion, a lot of wanting to change how things were. And it just zapped my energy. It just kind of got caught up in this vicious cycle of, okay, I can do all this. I'll put the weight of the world on my shoulders. And then it was a surrender to woe is me. I can't do anything. Pour me another drink. And so I drank a lot, and I had my decade of despair from the age of 14 to 24, which is kind of intense because my beloved Toby's here and he just turned 14. And to imagine him Oh, it just breaks my heart to even imagine it. So I'm grateful for what isn't. I do not have my teenage boys engaged in such activities as I was at their age. But my point in sharing all this is resilience is possible. And resilience is the first realm of an extraordinary life. We have been covering these each month throughout the year. The realm of resilience was about trust as a foundational distinction. Trust yourself to no longer abandon yourself. Focus is the second distinction. Focus on your own hula hoop, focus on your own lane, focus on your own path to help us move away from that toxic comparison or jealousy or whatever might sway us. It also helps me focus on what's best for me and not get so concerned of what does my beloved Mark need to do or what do Ev and Toby need to do. Just focus here and be that role model. As Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. The third distinction, I think this recap is helpful for me to just ground in on it. The third distinction is repair. What is my part in this nightmare right here? What is my part in this mess? In Alcoholics Anonymous, I learned how to clean up my side of the street, yeah? In this process, we can embrace some of the tradition of ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Always remembering that sorry is not an eraser. It doesn't excuse what I've done. There's the need to really understand what has happened and really take ownership. I am responsible. The fourth distinction of an extraordinary life is faith. What I mean by this is that conviction, those neurocircuits that work in your mind that create the world around you. What is it that you believe in? What is it that you can trust? What is it that you rely on that you don't have to recreate every day? I have faith that the sun is going to rise. The sunrise has been a source of eternal inspiration for me. I have faith that the moon phases will pass, and I'm sitting here with all my cards. I'm learning more and more about what does each moon phase mean, and how can I take time to feel the fruiting and the blossoming and the illuminating and the fulfilling. And we're coming up on the full moon this weekend, and that full moon that's here is with my beloved Mary in Denver, Colorado. And so how can I hold that energy as she's helping to nudge me along to not give up on this moonshot magic movement and keep on keeping on. So I have faith in those things. I have faith in the ability, as Terry said when we popped on, she signed up on my list and got my daily tender job description. And it starts with smiling upon awakening. That when I smile upon awakening, I'm setting up this neurochemical cascade of deep appreciation and presence. I have a lot of faith today, way more than I ever had before. That is the realm of resilience, those four distinctions. Then we move into the second realm, which is the realm of compassion. And I think of core compassion. And these distinctions are clarity, openness, reactivation, and energy. Clarity of mind, openness of heart, reactivation of spirit, and getting the energy. And so as I play with these distinctions, which I don't know where they came from, they came to me as I walk the track up at HPA in the morning when I'm not out paddling at Kauai High. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I realized that resilience culminates in faith. If I have trust that I'll no longer abandon myself, I focus on my part, I repair my part, I have faith. And then if I have clear thinking by hydrating wildly and staying sober and doing the things I do, I open my heart to each moment, because I think the real danger is not in opening our hearts too much. It's in closing down and thinking we need armor to protect us from them. I think that is a big trap that is promoted in dominant culture. If I can open my heart, and then I can reactivate my spirit. And I do that every day through breath practice, through yoga, through at least walking to the end of the road. And I was hustling there right before class because I slept in a little this morning. And it's all good. It's all good. When I do that, I have energy. And that's what we're here to focus on today. So I want to lead us in a little bit of breath practice. Welcome to everyone who's popped in. I'm now looking. Aloha Tanya from France. Good to see you again. We have Nancy from Denver, Sierra. Aloha, my dear, coming in. From here, we have, oh, maybe Joe just popped on, or someone else popped on. Terry and the Sings. Kayla's cleaning her kitchen, so she's here. Kala's in the background. Colleen from Denver, welcome, beloved. Kekuhi, I want you to know that Colleen and Nancy and Mary were my guides when I was in Denver, when I lived there, which is where I got sober. And they guided me on these journeys of drumming all through the night and calling in the directions and really tapping into more of the indigenous wisdom that I've been blessed to tap into wherever I move as I become more indigenous to my own heart. So, okay, I'm so excited. I get to contain my energy today. Breath practice. We're going to keep it really simple. What I invite us to do today is the idea of breathing 5 or 6 times per minute. Yeah. And the reason we want to slow down our breath rate is to bring in maximum coherence to our heart, that resonance, that ability to have the energy available when we want it, and also remember this vast reservoir of calm that's always there and accessible to us. We can do this through many, many breath practices, but one of the most simple ones that I know of is just breathing in sweetly through the nose, which taps into our parasympathetic nervous system. And we breathe in for a count of 5 or 6. And I actually have my timer here today because sometimes my count gets really wonky. You know, that whole time-space continuum is kind of baffling to me. So I'm going to set my stopwatch. We're going to inhale for 5 or 6. And then we're going to exhale for 5 or 6 through pursed lips. So I think of it as like blowing out through a straw or blowing raspberries or whatever you want to do there. We're going to do this 5 or 6 times. So it just gives us a real calm to our system. And maybe you're already there, and this will just enhance that. So join me if you can. I'll guide us into feeling ourselves in gravity. Gravity is always a higher power holding all of us, regardless of where we are or who we are. It holds us with great equanimity. Feel yourself surrounded by the ever-present presence of gravity, feeling your feet making contact with the earth below, feeling your head over your heart, over your hara, the Japanese word for center, core, your na'au, that internal structural alignment. These are our power centers. And when we can align with that structural support of the spine, we're doing our future selves a favor. Okay, I'm going to set the timer. Take a deep exhale, just release what's no longer needed in this moment. And inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale sweetly and completely. Mahalo. And just settling, feeling that energy flowing in, the oxygen going to every cell in your being. Notice what's going on. And then step back and notice you're noticing. Be the observer of your own experience. I want to thank you so much for being here now. I want to take this moment to start as I love to start, which is with a bow. If you're comfortable, willing, and able, rub your palms together, feel that energy connecting up, and then bringing your hands either to your lap or to your heart center. Taking this moment to allow your head to bow to the level of your heart and access the wisdom that's there and acknowledge the space between. Inhaling And exhaling. Okay, I have the great good fortune of introducing Kekuhi, Kealiʻikanakaole Ohailelani. Kekuhi is my beloved guide on this journey of Hawaii lifeways. And we, Team Gordon, Toby, Everett, Amy, and Mark joined Halau Ohia when we moved here. I joined first back in whenever it started, and we just celebrated our 5-year going. So 5.5 years ago or so, yeah. And then the big warm invitation, bring in your keiki, bring in your kids. So scooping up Everett and Toby, bringing them on our first huaka'i, our journey around the island, bringing in Mark as we were preparing to go to Kanaloa to do restoration work over on Kaho'olawe. She saw Mark and said, hey, you wanna go? she knows what an amazing energetic being he is. And Kekuhi is the creative visionary and founder of her own Kajabi coursework, the Lonua Honua, offering lots of ways of learning more about, if your life mission is anything like mine, weaving the lei of aloha around the world, one relationship at a time. Woo! Whatever that relationship is, if you're working on the actual, yeah, whatever that work is, I think all are welcome, all are invited. Kekuhi has given us that message from day one. And with that, I'm super grateful. So Mary is going to be posting some links so that you can connect up with Halau Ohia on Facebook. And also, I don't know what happened to your new website, darling, but it ain't working right now. So we gotta figure out courseskekuhi.com. Stay tuned. I just checked it right before we logged on. It didn't load today. Maybe there's so many people coming to your new website that it just crashed or something, but we'll get there. So without any further ado, Kekuhi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes.
Scoops, girl. How's it? So the whole website shenanigans, okay, that's all. It was a domain issue, totally my fault, totally. So I think I fixed it right before this. So maybe somebody, or not now. Don't do it now, you guys. In fact, I'm just gonna be quiet about that. You can check it out later. So thanks, girl. You know, I know Amy Elizabeth, which is her real name, is not Liz, you guys. I call this Mary Liz because like that's to me that's her energy. It's Liz. She's Liz. But no, her given name is Amy Elizabeth. Okay, but she's my Liz.
Yeah.
I don't know about all you guys. Okay. So girl, so she actually asked me to come and talk story like this. I don't know, maybe about a year ago, girl. It's like a year ago, or even more than that. And I forget what we were supposed to talk story about earlier, but like here we are, because this is like perfect timing. And I love how you weave words together. Wow, I was taking notes, but you're talking too fast. Indigenous to my own heart. What? What is that? I'm gonna use that. I wrote it down. And I did read through. I did one first reading through Liz's book, Moonshot. It was super shocking. And it was as if I was reading through my own bad dream. Ah. That's some la'au you have to do over there. That's like la'au. The la'au is the physical medicine. The lapa'au is the caring for. There's also energetic medicine that's called the la'au kahea. La'au kahea. So the la'au is the medicine again, and then the kahea is the calling medicine. So I girl, I was living through it.
Mm.
And I was reading your story, and I was seeing a part of me inside there. It might be it's it's I don't tell a lot of people because it's just not appropriate most times, but I think this is an appropriate space. And so I went through this experience, not as extreme as your like whole moon your thing, yeah. But there was a point in my life where that was the cycle. The get the reason why you go to work is at the end of the day, like, I get to drink. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That's more funner. Until it gets to that point where it's super burdensome. It gets super burdensome. And then all the fun leaks out of it, right? Right, exactly. So I was reliving that whole thing. So I thank you, girl, for being major open about it, for using the language that goes with that accompanies that lifestyle. Super real, bro. It was right there. So I really am I'm thankful for that voice, your voice. Okay. So what we talking about today?
We're talking about energy, the vital information needed to regenerate landscapes. Yeah.
Oh, you do that too?
In a half hour, yeah.
Half an hour. Girl. Okay. So I don't know, do we have questions about that? Like, what does that even mean? Do you guys have questions about that? Vital energy that it takes to restore, recreate, reimagine landscapes? So the way we think about that is, and this really goes back to the core of thinking about our lives are entwined. My dependence is I am interdependent on you, and you are interdependent on me. No matter how I feel about things and how I want to be organic to myself and authentic to myself, and that's all cool. That's super important stuff. This is stuff I have to learn later on in life. There is also a vital interdependence on my beating heart and the heart of the world, like physically, energetically, emotionally. So when in the Hawaii sort of world view, there is no separation, and it's not just a form of speech. It's not like a lexicon I'm using. Like literally, no separation between who I am as the Kekuhi person and who the Pele Honua Mea is, who the Pele is as the magma person. Okay. So now when I think about, or who the Kekuhi is and who the Ku Moku Hali'i. So Ku Moku Hali'i is the the way that the forest appears as a carpet or a blanket across the landscape. Okay. So no difference between the way the Ku Moku Hali'i and this energy here that happens to have the name of Kekuhi kind of idea. Okay, so now when we need to when we're looking at aina and landscapes and we the magic here, yeah, the alchemy here is that landscape is same as this landscape. This is the sort of the landscape at the micro level, and so my body and the landscape that my house is sitting on is the landscape at the macro level. And then the world and the universe, that's the aina, the honua, the world, the universe, the landscape at the meta level. Okay, so all we're looking at now is, or all we're feeling, or all we're living into, is the fact that we're not separate. We just appear at different fractals, at different scales. Okay, so now when we need to help one another, when we need to step in and help a landscape, for instance, yeah, help restore it or re-energize it, and you do that from a place of kinship. You don't do that from a place of, okay, here's the diagnosis, okay, now I'm going to give you your prognosis. Now, do the things that you got to do to make it all better. So that's one approach, and that totally works, but it's not the only approach. And so we take a full-on kinship approach, like you and I are interdependent. Okay. In order for me to have any hope in living here on this landscape, you're Kuleana. So now I'm talking to the forest, right? And I'm telling him, hey, yeah, there's some burn. Okay. Yeah, there's some, oh no, some yucky things in those trees, like fungus. There's ceratocystis, maybe. There's some fungus in that tree. We're trying to think about it. How do you drain that out of the tree the same way that you drain unwanted illnesses from the body, you know? Okay. Yes, there may be more mosquitoes than that particular forest, and those birds can handle. Okay, so the idea is, I'm talking to the forest and I'm saying, what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And what am I going to do about it? And that's how the approach gets. It gets like that. It gets like, excuse me, interdependence. Okay? That's what it's all about here. You cannot, that is not in our living contract as relatives. As relatives in this space. I'm trying not to make noise. I'm aware that this is making a lot of noise, okay? So it's not always that sort of kind of bossy little spoiled girl tantrum approach. It's not always that. But it is with some form of responsibility to one another. It's not just, oh yeah, I gotta malama my aina because my aina takes care of me, so I gotta malama her, and this is the way I malama her. No. In the Hawaii life way, that thing goes two ways. There's no such thing as I apply the medicine only. Just like La'au Lapa'au, same idea. Any La'au Lapa'au practitioner will tell you that grabbing that green thing, enough of it, knowing the chemical properties of that plant, squishing it up under the stone, squeezing that cheesecloth so all those yummy green yummy green juices come out. I'm thinking particularly, you guys, of popolo. Okay, so that's why all the taste is coming back in my mouth right now. That's why it's going. Okay.
Strong medicine.
Yeah. So that's all the la'au. That's all the la'au. Okay, so part of the diagnosis is, wow, your lungs are inflamed. Okay, you have some phlegm going on there. Part of the prescription is grabbing that popolo. It's right at the peak of its plumpness, making sure all of those green leaves that you pluck are green, no yellow, no pukas, no bug bites, no anything. Grabbing all those, making sure that those leaves are get measured in the palm of the person that's sick, grabbing that and make sure I'm pounding it, squeezing it, and feeding it to the person 3 to 5 times a day for 5 to 10 days. Okay, that prescription, but that's not all the la'au there is. The other half, and probably the more important half of the la'au, is the prayer. That's it right there. It's the prayer. And what is a prayer but the mindset? And what is a prayer but the internal thought process of whether or not this thing gonna work? I mean, I can go to all the most clever la'au, lapa'au, healer, whoever, shaman, this and that, allopathic, naturopath person in the world, and go like this, okay, give me a la'au. My belief in the fact that that thing is going to work on me, that's part of the medicine. So what you call that?
Placebo.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's part of the medicine. It's not only part of the medicine, that is the energy for the restoration. That's the push behind that la'au, not just the chemical characteristics of that la'au, but that's the push behind it. That's the gust of wind. You know, that's the current that's going to move that la'au to the right place, because you're already in the right energy, which is the right mindset. And that is that this place is related to me. This place is a ohana to me. That tree over there that needs my assistance I'm looking at it, it's not looking too good. If I look at myself, is that the same? Am I getting the same reaction? And that's part of the healing, you know. So then, and so now you pick the right prayer. You identify the space, and you by observation, and observation doesn't only happen in your eyeball, yeah. Observation also happens in the eardrum, through the eardrum. Okay, what am I? Can I actually hear the water moving through the trunk of the tree? Can I? When I go to touch the tree, and so this is the magic of a tree hugger, right? I know we get bad raps, I'm telling you. We get bad raps for being tree huggers, but let me tell you, if you can get up in there around that trunk of that tree, okay, and you can fuse your palm, your skin, and get to the skin to skin, bra, what heals the infant and the mother from that whole traumatic but beautiful process of birth, skin to skin, right? Right. Why do we think that that's not going to work for me and the tree? So yeah, we got to get our life and stop thinking those things don't also apply to other areas of our life. Okay. And so my energy and the tree's energy, we gotta check each other out. And guess what? If you attune, okay, if you get into the energy of attunement and get up in that tree's business, get over there, get in that tree's business, you know, wrap your hands around and get a really good feel. Or, you know, if you have to, I have a stethoscope, you guys. I'm that kind of weirdo. That's me right there. I have a freaking stethoscope. So I can listen what all is happening in that tree. And guess what? You can, if you can identify the sound, so I cannot hear it with my ear, okay? Unless I got that stethoscope up on there. But if you can identify through the pads of your fingers, the sound, the vibration of how the water is running in that tree. Oh, that's good stuff. Then at least you know how you can help. How can I help? If not, go buy yourself a cheapo stethoscope for $20 from Amazon, okay? Put them in your car and run around Hawaii Island listening to trees. You no need chop the tree down for figure out that the tree is diseased. Just apply that stethoscope to the tree and go, I cannot hear it breathing. I cannot hear the water moving through it. And now with that kind of diagnosis, the prognosis is that's it, you're dead, you're gonna die. Which is okay. The death of it is okay. The prognosis that nothing can be done for you and the multiple generations down the road, that's a freaking curse. That's not helpful anymore, bro. Well, better you just stay home. You and your unnecessary shenanigans coming out of your mouth. Okay. So that's why it's always a cool thing to equip people with, like you have all these wonderful pillars. Yeah. Oh, get up, put a smile on your face, guys. You know, it happens for me sometimes, Liz, but sometimes while you were saying that, get up with a smile on your face. I'm going, yeah. I remind myself, but sometimes I get up and I feel that cortisol racing through my body. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh. I get up like that. So your script, that's what I'm talking about, reminds me that tomorrow morning, okay, we're going to run a new script. Right. Let's go back to this script. So my script for folks who want to go out and kokua and help restore landscapes is a mele. That's the script. Mm-hmm. So if you're not, you don't have the time or the energy, or a mele is a chant. A mele is the text of a chant. It's a chant text. It's a poetic text, either contemporarily composed or something from long ago that still works because there's energy in that chant. Yeah, it's not dormant. It's not sleeping. Okay, and as soon as you puana, as soon as you pronounce that thing, you bring in the energetics of what the old people used to know back then, and you're bringing that to life now. So all of that ike, you don't have to already have in your own body. Okay, it's impossible to know what those guys knew back then, but all of that ike is encapsulated in that composition, in that mele. So now you're going to depend on all of that energy, all of that ike from back then when people are, let's say, bringing harvests or their ag plots back to life. They're saying, okay, wash away the mold, wash away the mildew, wash away the things that land doesn't need, and let's see if we can regenerate new shoots. Just like a tooth coming out of a baby's mouth, the first tooth, let's see if that shoot can puka through the ground. And with that wisdom back there, and with what we currently know about how the landscape can rejuvenate itself, and then through the mele, we add this other layer of aloha energy that you can generate your own self and pulse out from your own beautiful self, okay? And we can also add on to that our now image of what it is we imagine that is the best state of the optimal state of homeostasis for that space. What is it? What can you see in your ike papalua, in your mind's eye? And then you apply the energy of the mele, all of the imagery that's packed up in nice little imagery bundles in that text. And when you chant that thing through your mouth and through your body, the ike moves through the body and then goes over there. That vibration carries it. And if you in the right energetic frequency, that aina have no choice but to get better. It's like no choice. You get better because me and my grandchildren are depending on you. So you can depend on us to take part in that process. It's always a reciprocal process. There's none of this, oh, it's okay, I'm going to heal you kind of things. You cannot do the Hawaiian medicine like that. There is no such thing. I got my things. Okay, so let's hear. Yeah, good. Okay, here you go. Here you go. I make you better. And no, this medicine will make you better. There's no such thing. In Hawaii medicine, whether the medicine is oral, kahea medicine, or physical, chemical medicine from herbs, there's no such thing as I get to do that to you. The healing only comes in when you participating. And so as a participant, that landscape, you have to already announce to that landscape, hey, look, we remember me, I'm your grandchild, remember that? Okay, so I know who you are. You're the tall tree, you're the big tree, you're the long roots, you're the moss, you're the fern, you're the all the little you catch water for the island, there's your water, this is the name of the place. When you know all those things in a mele and the place reacts, now you know you have a way in. Is that what we're talking about today? Is that what that is? Something like that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, cool.
And what I love is how I hear everything is a metaphor for everything else. And so as you're talking about this, it's like why I'm no longer a mental health therapist diagnosing people and treatment planning and kind of that power differential of do this. It's a coach, it's a co-creation, it's an energetic exchange. And so what I'm loving is you're bringing in the interdependence, the iola oe, iola maukane, that my life is dependent. Yes. And that's, just so you know, that's the, you already know this, maybe that's the 9th distinction of an extraordinary life is interdependence. And then we go into responsibility. Yeah, that kuleana, which you've talked about. Then we go into generosity, like to give, to live, like the more I give, the more I receive. And then we go into consciousness, which, you've talked about the power of the voice, the hearing, the skin to skin, the being with the family, the recognition, the acknowledgement. And what I love is that humility, that being humble, that you don't have to know it all. You don't have to hold all that ike. You can just avail yourself, bringing your best self forth in that moment. And
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. No need know everything. We have to know something. You know, you've put time and energy in your life and in your being a therapist. That's required. You can step out there and go, look at me, I'm gonna heal the forest. No, brah. No, you crazy. No. That that kind of people, you gotta back. Oh, bye, brah. You go, peace out. I gotta go. My mother is calling me.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
totally. You gotta do the work, but you also have to be able to say, I don't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that you brought up the mele and that's where I thought we would go with the energy. Like, how do we have the energy to do this work? And that energetic exchange, the pule, the prayer, the exhale, the offering, the sacrifice on a daily basis. And I've been doing yoga chants for 30 years in a language I don't understand. I don't know what I'm saying. And now I do some in Olelo Hawaii, and I know a little kind, but how to offer that up in a way. And I know Mary's been doing voice lessons. She has a beautiful, strong voice. We used to sing and chant together with Nancy and Colleen. I think that's such an important part of finding your voice, to know who you are, have sovereignty to yourself, and have that energetic exchange of asking for what you want, asking what does support look like, knowing what's needed in the moment, and showing up, because the time is now. The world needs us to show up. We get to break the silence. We get to be here. Yeah. Now, so I know your time, you're teaching all over the world. I want to give people the Holy Consciousness registration is coming up. Sign up by August 29th, and the link will be fixed. Yeah. So if you want to study
this was
more,
good timing.
Yes, of course. This is great timing, and we're going to promote that and have the link there. And I don't know if you have time before you go to offer up something by way of.
Totes, bra. In fact, right before I hopped in here, I was in my one of my Oli classes, one of my chant classes. I think they're at the 3rd level. There's 3 levels, and then membership space. And so we were the last chant that we were doing was a chant for when the Pele magma finally comes up through the bottom of the ocean and begins to create these wonderful little worlds around thermal vents. So if you've never seen this phenomenon, go and look it up on YouTube, you guys. Good stuff. Okay, there's all kind of weirdness happening around thermal vents. Okay, and in fact, this is one of the clues that our ancestors had about sharks' nukus, their noses being so in tuned, so sensitive to heat. And so this is in one of our migration chants, because we had an inkling that that's what the sharks tip of their face, their nuku, had that kind of characteristics. We knew to follow them. So this is why one of in Pele's journey, her navigator was her brother, the shark. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So the chant is about it. If you think about the image of a huge octopus, like the octopus of the entire ocean, of the entire world, right? And like think of him pulling up the I had a book around here. Okay, forget it. Think of the octopus pulling up and opening the bottom of the ocean so that the Pele can come through and begin to build new islands. Yeah, like that. And the other wonderful thing about the octopus, and I decided when you asked, this is the chat to do, is that the octopus is one of the images that we call on when we need to heal, because he's a slippery guy. So the idea of the slipperiness is that the illness then just slips away from the body. Okay, so the thing is, we use that knowledge base and apply that same ike or information to when we need it to my mother's chant and her ritual that she taught to help Kaho'olawe Island slip away the people who were bombing her and begin to heal. The octopus is also, it's not just for the slipping away, it is for the deepest healing to begin to occur. Okay, so this is Inanaoawe'e, and I just occurred to me that I may not know all the words. Oh, this is so funny. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Terry Meeker has the words. Who else is in my chant class? Okay, not you guys. Terry Meeker, were you in that class?
Which chant was this?
Inanaoawe'e. I don't think you're in that class.
No.
Ah, darn it. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. And the good thing is that you don't know the chant anyway, so you're not
We
gonna
won't know.
Oh, good times. Thanks for having me, Liz.
Thank
Nice
you.
seeing you, garden peoples. It's the gardens. Ching, ching, ching. And aloha to my halal folks. And if you guys if you have questions, I can hang out for a little bit. And if you just want me to peace out, then I can go too.
No, I'd love for you to stay. We do questions at the top of the hour, so you're welcome to stay if can. Mahalo.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Okay, so it goes. Tupue nuna tmotue nuna tmotue o tupue nuna tmotue itapai poalue ave apuka kama ehu she's boring, dude. Good fun.
Good fun. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much, Kekuhi.
Okay, love you all. Huiho kako. Send me the questions, Liz, and I don't mind having an email conversation with you.
Okay, beautiful.
Send back to everybody else. Love you all. I gotta go.
I know, you're teaching. Bye. Aloha. Okay. Yay. All right. Whew. I don't know if y'all felt it, but I always feel it. I feel it. I feel the energy. Yeah. So, wow. I'm speechless, which doesn't happen very often. So, yeah.
I have something to add, and I kind of wanted to do it when Kumu was on, but so I'm in her hula consciousness class, the ha'e ha'e class, and I've been practicing my mele komo for that class, and I practice chanting while I'm doing the dishes. And my ohia that's right outside the window is going off. I mean, I really wanted to tell her, and I'm going to write her an email.
Yeah, please
but
do.
The thing is, like, I've never seen it bloom so much, you know, because I'm standing at the gateway at ha'e ha'e, you know, and every day I'm practicing my chant and the tree is going crazy. And I was like, wow, I wonder what I did this year that, you know, and so Kumu's talking and she's saying this and I'm saying, oh, no wonder the tree is responding to my chanting to her. And so I had like a little bit tears and chicken skin and, you know, hopefully I'll get to share that with Kumu, but wow, it works. It's amazing.
It does work. Wow, I love it, Terry. Thank you for sharing that story. I mean, they say even just talking to your houseplants, that energetic exchange when you're watering or wiping the leaves and charging your water with, who is that? This guy who does the crystals. He puts the word on it, the self-love, Dr. Emoto or something. It's in that What the Bleep video. But, you know, you supercharge things with the energy you give it. And so when we're sending the mele komo, we're sending that energy. Of course, the trees are going to respond. And I do believe in the power of that. You know, I love that Kumu said prayer is mindset. Some people recoil from the word prayer and it doesn't resonate with them, but we all have a mindset. We all have a story that we tell ourselves, about the other, about the world, and it creates our reality. And so, you know, as she was talking about the tree that, you know, if you just diagnose it's going to die or whatever, that doesn't really serve. And I see that with human beings as well. You know, I don't write anybody off. I look for the inherent wisdom, the brilliant sanity, that basic goodness in all of us. And I do whatever I can to mirror that and help pull that out in a way where, you know, helping others helps me. Just ask my family. Anytime I get new clients or I'm working with people, it's like that energetic exchange. I'm just lit up. I'm fed by that. And I've definitely felt that with Kekuhi, just her warm embrace and the pu'uvai, the heart of, you know, I would hold my head and I'd be like, how am I going to learn the Koi Honua? I didn't grow up speaking Olelo Hawaii. How am I going to chant this? How am I going to do it? And she'd say, no need, hold head. You know, no need, hold head. This is to come into the breast, the chest, the heart, and just those little messages, her way of teaching as a way of unlearning all that stuff that gets in the way, and just being that, and then having this profound energetic experience of chanting with her when we were on Kaho'olawe. And I went right after her. So I had to tell, like, when she was done to pick up, we were doing the moku au hau for the Hokulea, the Polynesian voyaging vessel that went around, circumnavigated, leaving the lay of Aloha. And as we were chanting, I was like, is she done? And she's in her thing and she's doing, and just feeling, I've never felt such energy in my body, like the heat and the energy from head to foot, from just the whole thing. I felt like I was on fire. And she's like, yeah, that's it. So I wanted to share that experience too. It is time to draw to a close, and I stay on for Ask Amy Anything. We can have a little talk story questions at the top of the hour, but in these last couple of minutes, I wonder if anybody wants to share anything that they're going to take with them from today, like what jumped out to you, any jewels or any sharing. I'd love to hear other voices. Everyone is stunned into silence. Maybe that's a good thing.
Okay, I'll go. So,
Thanks,
I mean, I live and breathe this landscape protection, preservation, restoration. It's my life's work, but I also now am less in the forest every day, and I'm more supporting a whole team of people doing this work. And I think that we have a really high risk of burnout in this type of field, because people are so committed and they realize what the consequences are of not doing 150%. And so I think I don't have any concrete strategy, but just thinking about how to keep a whole team revitalized to have this reciprocal work. I think it's a real challenge, and and it's new for me instead of directly communicating with the trees. Supporting a group of people who engage in this work every day.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. I think more will be revealed. That's something we can certainly explore more. And I think my first response is it's the same. Yeah, like how we support the tree is how we support each other, and remembering those arms are opening up, the branches are open wide to receive the sunlight and the rain, and the roots are going down, and how do we support the roots and the arms outstretched in each other. Maybe more hugs, Sierra. That's my first thought. More hugs. That skin to skin contact. If we could do that now, I don't know. All right, confusing times indeed. If you need to pop off, here's the closing bow. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to stay on, you're welcome to. Everett, I'd love for you to pop on here. I know people are curious how you're doing, and those of you who are aware of what's going on there, that would be great. So thank you, Mary, for assisting me in assisting this to happen again. Our monthly masterclass is here, the third Friday of the month. Yeah, thanks for being here, Sierra. Aloha, everybody. Big, big love. Okay. There's Tanya putting her video on. Hi, darling. Yay. Hi, Nancy, Colleen, Kayla. So some of you know that Everett had a couple of MRIs because we had some medical stuff going on. And some of you know that I'm an external processor and I love to share news right away. And some of you know that Everett is a bit of an internal processor and more of a contained private person. So Everett, why don't you say what you're comfortable saying, and I might fill in some gaps if there's anything else. Can I put you on the spot, darling?
Yeah. So should I start from like how far back or what?
Yeah, well, just you were our special guest last month and we were talking about reactivation, and you had that profound statement of, I'm not giving this medical thing real estate in my mind. Like you had that equanimity and that poise of not being hijacked by the anxiety of things you can't control or the mystery of life. And it's something that really impacted a lot of people, and I heard from them. And then I know people want to know what's going on. They want to know how you're feeling. And yeah, so just real brief for those who don't know, maybe.
Yeah, so earlier this summer I had appendicitis and I ended up in the ER, and during the surgery to remove my appendix, the surgeon found a tumor on my liver, and that led to an MRI a month later, and then another one just this past Monday, trying to figure out what it was. And last month when I was on the show, I was talking just like my mom was saying about how I'm not giving, I hadn't really been giving much thought or worry to it just because I didn't know enough about it, and I was just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen and go along with it. But yeah, this Monday I went over to Oahu for an MRI, and we're still waiting to hear from my actual doctor, but we got the radiology report or whatever it is, and it looks like whatever it is benign and relieving in that way. So it didn't feel like a big surprise to me, I guess.
Right.
It felt like it's good to know that this is okay. But I think you, like Mom, you had a bigger reaction to it than I did for sure. So
yeah. Well, I could do show and tell and show the images, but that might be a little too personal. My reaction was when the surgeon came out taking your appendix out and showed me the image, I started bawling. I felt the feels, and I'm a person who feels it to heal it. Like, oh my gosh, what is this thing? What happened? What can we do? And then your leadership, Everett, because you are such a leader, is you didn't worry about it. You didn't become anxious. It didn't hijack your brain and take you away from your studies or from your great summer trip up to the Pacific Northwest or whatever. And I follow your lead on that. And I also, you and I talked and we decided not to do the rabbit hole internet med WebMD, whatever, you know, like we didn't get lost in it. And I think it's a powerful message. And I think it echoes in a way what Kumu was just saying, what Kekuhi was saying, like, we don't need to go into the forest and, you know, say, oh, that tree's dying and that's, you know, and then worry becomes a form of negative prayer. And if she said prayer is mindset, then it becomes that negative mindset and then it clouds your whole day and it becomes who you are. And I'm a believer, you know, just as that placebo effect that she was talking about, we think something's going to work, it helps. The same as if we think something's wrong, that which we feed starts to grow. And I think you've been instrumental in your own health by not paying attention to it that way. So on the other end, when we got the report and it said, you know, benign looking, and it was the size 3.3, which is smaller and all of that, I was like, whoa, can I do a hoot and holler? And it was a way of saying thank you to the universe. It was that energetic exchange, the prayer of thanks. And you'll notice that it wasn't like bursting in tears. It wasn't as though this load was lifted from my chest because I hadn't been worried either. I knew you were okay. It was just a faith, a conviction, a belief. And so it wasn't this, oh, great, the doctors, the medical establishment has said that Everett's okay. I knew you were. It was just, you know, and then upon further research, hopefully you won't even need surgery or anything. I mean, this is all really good news. So I want to give thanks where thanks is due. And I know people were curious. So I felt like it tied in with energy. It tied in with, yeah, thanks, Terry. Thank you, everybody. Tanya's been emailing and asking from France. And, you know, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of, you know, I believe in that too. That's another reason I'm so transparent with what's going on in my life, because I can't handle it all on my own. I don't want to try to carry it all and be all stoic. And, you know, we divide our sorrows and we share our joys and they multiply. And that's just how I roll. And I appreciate your allowing me to do that and your willingness to share about it freely right now, Everett. I think it's awesome. So anybody have any other comments about energy, regenerating landscapes, the landscapes of our own relationships with self, other, spirit, anything like that? We have a few more minutes.
I just wanted to share that, you know, we were supposed to get together about that printing thing, and then it didn't kind of work out. And on an email, I think Mark had mentioned something was going on, and I didn't know what it was, but I have held you and your family up in prayer and Oli like this whole summer. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, you didn't know it, and I didn't know why I was doing it too, but I just wanted to like, and then all this stuff is happening and I'm finding out, oh, wow, no wonder I was like holding this family, because, you know, we had taken that trip and we picked Hala and it was fun day. And, you know, because of COVID, we didn't really like get together, but we were there together with our energy. And then, you know, things transpired. So I just wanted to let you know, now I feel like, oh, now I know why. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't want to pry. I didn't want to say, you know what I mean? But then now I'm like, it works. It truly, I mean,
yes,
like how I like stumbled onto this like not even a day ago, and then I'm like, hey, let's check this out, and then Kekuhi, and so it's kind of like validating and encouraging me to keep my practice going with my Oli and my prayer, and to validate that it works. So mahalo. I'm like chicken skin. I'm like, I'm so grateful that I tuned in today, and I really want to be a part of it, and I want to get your book, and Everett, yay, and mahalo. So thank you. And I'm not going to jump in so much, but mahalo.
No, thank you, Terry. Mahalo. And Mark, I'm sure you're feeling validated right now too, that containment and expressing a little bit is good enough. Mark's more of a contained, you know, not needing to go into the details, and I'm kind of a splayer, layer, outer, and there's no right or wrong. It works, and I love that you shared that, Terry. So thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I think we're about out of time. Anybody else want to say anything? We got a few more moments.
One thing
Yeah.
I thought about was, you know, the tree hugging and this is the image I had. Trees need us to play.
Mm.
You know, trees are like this great canopy for play. And I just like it sometimes that's what's missing in the world, is because being entertained is very different than play.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel approach everything so tight that we actually don't even know how to play. And in my own life, play has been so, and I don't have as much play as I used to, but play has been such a huge thing. I mean, at work, I played until the world got tight and you weren't supposed to play at work. You know, it was like the value of play. And I sometimes almost think if we learn how to play, sing, and dance with each other, so many things would fall away. But those are the basic things, and we've lost. I feel like that it's like we can't make. I've hugged some trees, and I felt that feeling she's talking about. I had that happen years ago. But I also thought to myself, it's like my trees want me to play.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. 100%, Nancy. I agree, and that's why you know, I can pick up the sidewalk chalk, you know, with Leimamani and draw a heart and feel that playful doing cartwheels, you know, in my mind kind of energy. And Kekuhi brings that out. There's definitely that play, that singing, that moving and dancing and hula, and she's provided that forum for our family. And it's been so enriching. It's not about getting more information up here. It's about being more embodied and at ease in my own skin and inviting in that play. And so that's a great reminder. I think, you know, even Resmaa Menakem, who's doing a lot of somatic abolitionist work about, you know, the importance of healing the collective trauma in our bodies, whatever color our skin. And he talks about giving people play things, not more tools to work with or do, but I forget how he talks about toys. I guess that's, what is the word for playthings? Toys. Yeah, we all need more toys and more play and more fun. And there's lots of nodding. And I certainly need some encouragement and nudging around that. So let's go play, let's go have fun, whatever that looks like for you this weekend, and celebrate this moment, because in this moment we're okay. And the power of our prayers, the power of our intentions, our oldies, our singing, I think it's so so legit, too legit to quit. Okay, I just said that. That's funny. Yes, Mark, you can nod. Too legit to quit. Quote of the day. Woohoo! All right. All right. What's that, Kayla? What is that? Tell me what that means. What is it?
That's too legit. Too legit. Too legit to quit.
Oh, all right. I didn't
That's
even
from the 90s.
Yes, I'm a little older, so I remember that one. All right, Toby, remember that one, okay? All right, my loves. I love all of you. I hold you high in my heart. And until we meet again, ahui ho. Be well. You matter and your relationships matter. Rock on.